And wherever you go, do people swarm over you and want your autograph? Do they recognize you wherever you go?
They do. The interesting thing is that most of them are still connecting from Partridge Family, which absolutely amazes me.
Yeah.
And as you know, that when you appear in people's living room, they feel a connection with you.
Right.
That's very intimate.
Especially if they catch you stealing something.
The connections that the Partridge Family cast made with each other were as deep as the ones they made with viewers. They became closer and closer to one another as they performed each day. That was part of what made them so believable to watch. Susan Dey knows all too well that these connections can run too deep. Add love into the mix and the ties that bind get twisted. Keep watching to learn why Susan Dey refused to attend Partridge Family reunions. How the show took off. Bernard Slade created the Partridge Family. It was loosely inspired by the real musical family, the Cowsills. It debuted September 25, 1970. Johnny Cash sang the intro, which described the Partridges as, quote, America's latest success story. Shirley Jones gave her story on how she was brought onto the show. She also described how she always knew it would truly be a success story.
And I read the script of the Partridge Family, and I loved it. I really loved it. I just loved the idea. I loved the fact that she was the first working mother on television, you know. The family idea and the music idea was such a great idea for me. I mean, I thought, wow, there's nothing like this on television. This is really a very different thing, you know. So I said, you know what? I want to do this. I want to do this. And of course, everybody said, don't do television once again. This is not a good idea. You know, don't do television. And I said, no, this would be I have a feeling the show is going to be a success. I just have it in my bones that it's going to be a hit show.
The show was a major success for 4 seasons. It also spawned top 10 songs like I Think I Love You, Doesn't Somebody Want to Be Wanted, and I'll Meet You Halfway. Susan's time before the show. Susan Dey was born in Illinois, December 10, 1952. She started her work as a model. She had a girl next door look that led her to appear in various teen magazines. Susan got the role of Laurie Partridge in 1970 when she was 17. She played keyboard and organ on the show. Like many other cast members, she wasn't actually a musician. All instances of her playing were filled in by professionals. Why she didn't show for the reunions. David Cassidy rejected any rumored reports of feuds between the cast members as false. He always thought of his co-stars as his family. He was particularly close with Shirley, Susan, and Dave. He says Danny even credits him with reviving his career after persuading him to do a stand-up act. That doesn't mean he agrees with everything he does. He admits his friend has done some, quote, cheap stunts in his life, but that they've also kept him in the public eye. David will love Donnie forever because they, quote, shared something quite extraordinary together. But before David Cassidy died in 2017, he had trouble getting in contact with Susan Dey. He wrote her a letter and got no response. And he said at the time he wasn't the only one who had trouble reaching her.
No one I know, including Shirley and Danny and everybody else that I have spoken to that had anything to do with the Partridge Family, has seen or spoken to Susan Dey in years. And I was very, very close with her. I loved her. She loved me. We were brother and sister. And I have a sense of sadness about it. And I guess maybe her resistance to wanting to be involved with shows like this and realizing what kind of a positive impact that it and she had on a whole generation of people that loved her for it. And I'm sorry that she's not able to embrace that.
David admitted that despite that positive impact, he didn't necessarily want to produce a Partridge Family reunion of any kind. He didn't want to be criticized for his looks or have it not live up to audience expectations. He felt the only reason he would do it was for money. A reunion was announced anyway for the show's 50th anniversary. It was a Facebook Live event set for the exact date it premiered. The host was author and Partridge Family superfan Johnny Ray Miller. The cast included appearances and cameos from almost anyone who'd ever been on the series, including Shirley Jones, Danny Bonaducci, Jeremy Gelbach, Rick Siegel, Bruce Kimmel, Ann Moses, and Brian Forster. Susan Dey was not on the list. She has refused to be a part of any Partridge Family-related material since leaving the show. Susan's relationship with David Cassidy. The most widely accepted reason why she refused to do the show is David's 1994 memoir, Come On, Get Happy, Fear and Loathing on the Partridge Family Bus. It revealed secrets that perhaps should have stayed hidden. David was a teen idol in the 70s, with women hanging his picture all over their bed frames. Susan was also a beautiful woman who attracted teenage eyes. They could have been with anyone they wanted, including each other. Shirley says Susan had a giant crush on David, even though he was several years older. She even tried to warn her against going after him. The two stars played brother and sister on stage, and that was how David felt about her. She still tried to confess her feelings to him. They were hanging out at his old high school after filming the last episode of the show. David describes the incident in his book. She told me in great detail, we must have spent 3 hours sitting there, how long she had loved me and how difficult it had been for her and how afraid she was of what was going to happen with our future. He visited her ranch later to tell her the truth about how he felt about his, quote, best female friend. He thought she was attractive but wasn't interested in her romantically. They did have a one-night stand, but it didn't end up leading to a romantic relationship. It may have been the poor word choice he used in his book that made Susan so angry later. He said she lacked the, quote, slutty aspect of the girls he typically slept with. She was too good for him to think of her as anything but a sister. The two didn't stop contact immediately after that. They presented an award at the MTV Video Music Awards in the 90s. That was one of their last public outings together. David said he regretted ruining their friendship and admitted he would always have a special place in his heart for her. Susan admitted in a 2000 interview with Desert News that putting such candid comments in his memoir ruined their friendship. An apology letter wasn't enough to fix such a major issue. Susan's other struggles. Susan struggled with the dynamic of being a teen star, feeling like an adult and not an adult at the same time. She developed an eating disorder during the show's run. David's memoir also wasn't the only time her secrets were displayed without her consent. The tabloids revealed her struggles with alcoholism. When asked about it, she said, quote, I usually don't talk about it because I feel like it's my business and no one else's. Susan managed to overcome all of these issues, but it caused her to be protective of the details of her personal life. That's another reason she may have avoided Partridge Family reunions. Her life today. Once the Partridge Family ended, Susan had another issue to overcome. Her main concern was to avoid typecasting. She didn't want to play ingenues or be underestimated as a performer. She started in 1978 playing Jo in a Little Women TV series. It took time for her to find success in film. A few of her first were 1977's First Love, 1981's Looker, and 1986's Echo Park. None had as much of an impact on the world as the Partridge Family. That didn't deter her. She returned to TV in episodes of shows like SWAT, Hawaii Five-0, and Matt Helm throughout the 70s. She also earned 20 credits in made-for-TV movies in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Her most memorable post-Partridge appearance was playing Grace Van Owen in L.A. Law. She appeared in all 126 episodes from 1986 to 1994. That was more than the Partridge Family, which only had 96 episodes. That show isn't the one she gets remembered for, but she is proud of it. She wasn't against appearing in its 2002 reunion TV movie. It earned her multiple Emmys and a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Drama Series in 1988. Susan then joined the first season of Love and War. She acted in 2 episodes of Third Watch in 2004. Those appearances marked her retirement from acting. She did mention in an interview once that she may return and would like to try theater. She's been happily married to producer Bernard Safonsky since 1988 and has a daughter from her first marriage in 1978. Susan remains private about her personal life. Her work on the Partridge Family will always live in syndication, even if she never appears in any reunions. Now it's time to hear from you. Who is your favorite character on the Partridge Family? Let us know in the comments section below.